guys, it's Mrs. C here with Cycle 1, Week 17 for Foundations Ideas for Presenting New Grammar. So we will jump right in. We have African countries this week. So basically what I did is I got into class early and got all my maps and traced each section in different colors because I have the littles and sometimes it's just kind of hard for them to find and identify. So I had them each in different colors and we just pointed to each color, said the name, like we tapped really fast or we tapped slow or we rubbed, just did different things with our fingers. And then after we had said the name and done it several times, we erased. I had just traced them, so we erased where I had traced. And then once we were all the way through, I went back on my map and I pointed and said, okay, what was this one that was, up here in the middle, towards the middle of, or the Horn in Africa, and they would say Ethiopia. I had to give them, some hints for it, but that's what we did. So we just went through Madagascar. We talked about that it was a big island, so that we can remember that that one is not touching in Africa, that it's the island. So yeah, I just went through really easily. I tried to keep it super stick and sand today because I was really tired. So that's what we did for geography. Nothing complicated. You don't always have to do something amazing for geography, and for the littles I actually find that it's better to keep it pretty simple for them. So then we moved on to English. So for English we are learning a song for the helping verbs. So I've been just singing the song with them the whole time each week. So we have helping verbs, help another verb assert an action, being or existence. Helping verbs make lots of sense. Helping verbs are do, does, did, has, have, had, may, must, might. So we're having to change it from the original song because they've restructured. So hopefully this is still going to line up. I think it will still line up. I kind of went through it last night and figured it out. But so we've added, so helping verbs are do, does, did, has, have, had, may, must, might. So we just add may, must, might. So when I do it in class, we sing the song a few times, and then I just have them say, may, must, might, and we pat it on the table, may, must, might, pat it on our laps, may, must, might, just did all different kinds of movements, getting them to say may, must, might. So that's what we did for science. For English, for science today, we had parts of the volcano, and my director brought in this paper just to give them a visual of what we were talking about, and I had it also drawn up on my board. So we went over it on the board, and then I took this paper and passed it around, and I had my big pointer with the finger on it, and I let each kid go through, and they would point, and we'd say magma, vents, lava, crater, gases, and they point, and then we'd pass it to the next kid, and the next kid would take it in the pointer, and they would point to each one, and we would say them all together. So we actually did science a couple extra times because we had a few extra kids today, but it was fine. It didn't take too long. So that's what we did for science. I was really impressed because when we went to review today, even though, again, this wasn't anything super amazing, when we went to review today and I drew out the review card that said, where's the parts of the volcano, a couple of them piped up right away and started saying the parts of the volcano. So just remember, you can keep it simple. For Latin, we did duck, duck, goose again because we had extra time. I ended up doing Latin at the end today. We had a little bit of extra time, and the kids love doing duck, duck, goose, and it was something to get them out of their chairs and sitting down and let them run around. So when we do duck, duck, goose for Latin, if you have older kids and they're able to go around and keep on a tempo, you might have them tap each person's head as they go around. I'm finding with my class that I just tend to sing it and let them just tap as they will around the circle. So we just sang through the noun endings and practiced those again and played duck, duck, goose. For history, again, I was trying to keep it really simple today. I thought about bringing my little guitars in because it's kind of got the Spanish sound to it, but then they tend to end up messing with the guitars more than they're listening to the song. So we ended up just partnering up and dancing and singing along with the song. It's kind of an odd song to dance to because of the human sacrifice part, but they loved doing that. Some of them would partner up with me, or they partner up with each other, and we've got several awesome moms in our room, and they partnered up with moms, and then we ended up with several in a circle, and we were just dancing back and forth, and it was just kind of fun, silly, and we would pose at the end of the song, and they thought that was a lot of fun. So again, trying to keep it very stick and sand this week. So that's what we did for history. For math, we're adding on to our geometry song. So last week we learned rectangle, this week square, and so far our song sounds like this. The area of a rectangle equals length times width. The area of a square equals length of its side squared, and then you go side squared. So I've added a few hand motions. So for rectangle, we say length times width. For side squared, we put up a 2 since it's squared. You could also do, that's kind of rectangle, but you could try to make a square. I don't know. That's a rectangle. There, you make a square. But you can, do another hand motion if you feel like they need a hand motion in there. The way I got that in 7 times was I sang it a couple times. We all sang it together. I have 2 tables. So one table sang the whole song with me, and the other table said the side squared part. And then the other table sang the whole song. The other table sang the side square, and then we all sang it together. So they really enjoyed doing the side squared part. So that was math. For timeline, we have Napoleon, crowned Emperor of France. So we're going to make an N, which is 2 fingers over your thumb. So N, crowned Emperor. And just like we do for anyone who's royalty, we're going to make an E because he was an emperor. We're going to take it from our shoulder, touch down to our hip like a sash that they wore. Crowned Emperor of France. And just like what we did for French Revolution, we're going to make an OK sign, and we kind of flick our wrist like we're fancy because France is fancy. Then we have liberation of South America. So we have our arms, they're bonded, they're crossed. We're going to break free, we're liberated. And then we're going to take our fist with our thumb crossed, which is an S, and we're going to move it down for South America. Okay, so liberation of South America. All right. The War of 1812. So if you look on the back of your timeline cards, it actually talks about that was one of the first wars that bombs were used in. So we're going to do a war. This is our sign for war, fighting back and forth. And then we're going to make bombs. So we're going to put one hand on top of the other, but turn it horizontally. And we are going to make explosions. When you're doing it and you're singing it with a song, you really can only get kind of 2 bombs very quickly in there. So the War of 1812, okay? Then the Missouri Compromise. So they were, compromising. They were bringing their thinking together. They were aligning their thoughts. So we're going to point here for our thoughts. We're going to bring it down. We're going to make the sign for same or like or together. So it's just your 2 fingers, and it's kind of pointed out like this. So Missouri Compromise, okay? And then we have immigrants flocked to America. So there was a lot of people coming into America. So we're going to take a flat hand, and we're going to bring our right hand down and under. They're coming into. And then the sign for America is fingers crossed, kind of like we did not quite like we did the gears, but fingers crossed like we did gears. And you're going to go around like this with your fingers. In the video they talk about, they're not sure why, but they think that it's, all the people coming together and blending together, like doing this motion like you're in a mixing bowl. You're mixing all the people up, okay? So immigrants flock to America. The Monroe Doctrine, I totally spaced in class what the sign for this was, so we just made up something, but the actual sign is you're going to take your hands like this, and you're going to spread them way out, because the Monroe Doctrine was about anybody that came in and tried to colonize any part of America was going to be in trouble, because they owned all the land from sea to shining sea. So we're starting and spreading all the way out from shore to shore. America is all the United States now. And then we have the Romantic period of the arts, which is one of the most fun ones to watch all the kids do. So the Romantic period was very dramatic and over dramatized, and there was a lot of expression in the faces and things. So we're going to bring our face down and then bring it up again, and we're happy. So Romantic period of the arts. So again, make your kids do that one a whole lot, because it's really fun to watch them do their faces. So that was timeline, and that was everything for this week. I went pretty quickly. I will tell you guys, as we're kind of getting into some of the more popular artists, there are some really great books. This is one of my favorite ones with pictures in it. And then these are all Usborne. Usborne also has these really cool cards that have the picture, and then it has lots of facts. So if you're looking for some things to add to the art when you're doing them, I've got one more book. in here, this is another one of their famous paintings book. This one is really cool because it has a huge picture of the Sistine Chapel on it. So just a lot of visuals. I like to have a lot of visuals for the kids to look at. But yeah, so that's what we did for today. I hope you guys have an awesome week, and we'll see you back next week with week 18. Bye, guys.